It was the kind of mid-air revelation nobody saw coming. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were aboard a commercial flight, an unusual break from their usual private jet routine, when a member of the cabin crew let slip something that shook them to their core. The hushed confession came quietly, but it traveled fast. According to multiple reports, the attendant disclosed that rumors had circulated among the crew their children Archie and Lilibet were not always being attended to by their parents, but left in the hands of hired staff. What made the claim more explosive was its timing, shared just days after Meghan began publicly showing glimpses of her family life, causing an immediate media storm. Behind the scenes, sources confirmed that Harry and Meghan flew into a panic. As soon as the flight landed, their security team sprang into action, rushed texts between PR advisors, legal counsel, and their personal staff began circulating. Should they deny, clarify, file a defamation claim? They debated. The couple's public brand, built on authenticity and parental devotion, was suddenly under scrutiny. The question on everyone's lips: how deep did the crew's knowledge go? What fuels this crisis is not just what was said, but who said it. Cabin crew, often in close quarters with passengers, can become surprising eyewitnesses. Their claims carry weight because they aren't known for sensationalism. They typically keep to protocols. So when one crew member quietly told a colleague, they barely even looked at the kids when they fussed, always passing them off, it triggered alarms. The rumor mill lit up instantly, and soon tabloid outlets were broadcasting the line: Sussexes neglect their children at 30,000 feet. Yet on the surface, Meghan had recently presented a very different image: a caring mother showing rare family footage, teaching Archie to ride a bike, celebrating Lilibet's birthday at Disneyland, and even reading bedtime stories in personal Instagram posts. That portrayal clashed starkly with the crew's claims, creating a jarring contradiction in public perception. Was it genuine family life or editorial production, and just how far apart were the two images? Amid the chaos, insiders say Harry was visibly upset about the crew's narrative. Having fled the glare of royal life, the couple prized control over their story, and this felt like sabotage. They feared that every public gesture of affection with their children could now be questioned. One Hollywood ally commented, "They've been market-tested to death. Now, they're at risk of being seen as actors rather than parents." For the Sussexes, this wasn't just brand damage, it was personal. And so, within hours, a media response began to take shape. Their reps prepared a short, firm statement: Harry and Meghan are loving, engaged parents. Crew rumors do not reflect the loving, private family life we live. Yet the lack of specifics, who said what and when, left room for the rumor to breathe. Observers noted the statement's vagueness. When pressed, a spokesperson added, the children were always attended to by their parents or trusted guardians. Still, the damage was done. On social media, the reactions were swift. Hashtags like #SussexNeglect and #ParentsOrPerformers trended within hours. Viewers drew the contrast between Meghan's curated photo galleries and the crew's anonymous account. Forum threads dissected Instagram stories, counting glimpses of affectionate parenting. Critics smirked. Supporters bristled. And so, a wedge was driven between two narratives: parental devotion versus inauthentic image-making. In this volatile environment, Harry and Meghan were forced into crisis mode: more rapid-fire statements, selective media engagement, and heightened care in what they shared. But when your most powerful asset is authenticity, and that authenticity is called into question while in flight, the backlash can be brutal. And this was just the beginning. When the crew revelation hit the news cycle, it sparked immediate unease across multiple fronts. PR teams, legal advisors, royal watchers, and Hollywood insiders alike scrambled to assess the fallout. For Harry and Meghan, who fled Britain in pursuit of media control, the idea that a cabin crew member could ignite doubt about their parenting struck with rare precision. According to people close to the Sussexes, the panic began mid-flight. Lawyers were on standby as soon as the plane touched ground. Flocks of smartphones and encrypted group chats buzzed with messages. Do we deny fully or partially? Who's speaking? Legal letter or apathy? Meanwhile, journalists from major tabloids, The Sun, Daily Mail, and Mirror, had already reached out to cabin crew claiming to witness the neglect. One claimed a flight attendant told them directly, "I've seen Archie cry while Mom and Dad were miles away," passing him off to the nanny. Another tabloid reported that crew were joking among themselves about how the couple treated their kids like an accessory, strictly there for photo ops, and tucked out of view. But not all crew stories aligned. Some sipped coffee quietly, never engaging. The discrepancy gave reporters just enough ambiguity to ignite suspicion without offering complete proof. This murky mix forced Meghan and Harry's advisors into rapid defense mode. They released a brief statement stressing, "Our children are always in our care," but without specifics. It sounded rehearsed. Some communications experts warned this might backfire. One PR consultant told Variety, "Generic phrases about 'always in our care' don't address context. In fact, they invite more questions: who has not been in their care, and why?" Simultaneously, airfare analysts noticed unusual patterns, media flights shadowing the couple's travels. One travel insider claimed outlets were sending luxury private jets to tail their commercial route. It became a spectacle. Will they look after Archie up there? A brief viral video even circulated showing Meghan holding Lilibet's hand near a galley door, desperate to appear engaged, sparking more speculation. In London, the palace remained uncharacteristically silent. No denial, no statement, no hint of involvement. Some royal aides reportedly welcomed the space, believing any comment would elevate the story. Others were exasperated. One former aide privately lamented, "It's not just rumor, it's narrative now. And you can't wish it away." For a family that values optics and discretion, this unverified yet persistent gossip presented sizable vulnerability. Amid the crisis, Hollywood insiders tipped that studio execs had begun reassessing collaborations around the Sussex brand. A source near Netflix reportedly said, "If the narrative becomes recluse parents who can't even parent on vacation, it'll turn off sponsors and partners." Over at Spotify, internal emails reportedly buzzed about how to neutralize the controversy, requesting temporary softening of Meghan's mom mythos messaging. Each passing day brought new layers. A senior flight attendant on record described Meghan playfully tossing Lilibet on her hip before turning away to respond to an email. Social media fed the fire. Alt-right influencers posted comparative GIFs of dedicated parents. Parents says, "Look at how we parents act on planes." Parenting TikTok sprung into uproar, debating whether the world had gone too far or whether the Sussexes had asked for scrutiny by fleeing to the public eye. Navigating the crisis, Meghan and Harry grappled with a painful truth: intention doesn't always overcome appearance. Their curated image of loving, accessible parents clashed with filmed moments and anonymous claims, each denying or defending, created a widening gulf between their projected brand and lived reality. As the media storm intensified and headlines stretched across continents, one story began to eclipse the rest: the Staffordshire nanny. An anonymous woman, allegedly employed by a luxury nanny agency, began appearing in interviews under disguise. With her voice modulated and identity concealed, she claimed she had traveled with the Sussexes during one of their international flights and had first-hand knowledge of how their children were treated mid-air. Her allegations were vague yet damaging. Long stretches where the children were left entirely to the care of staff, tension between Meghan and Harry about parenting approaches, and moments of what she called emotional distance. What set the internet ablaze wasn't just the claim itself, but the precision in how she described their family dynamic. Meghan is constantly branding herself as the mom of empathy, but there were days I barely saw her hold Lilibet. Most affection came from the staff, and Harry, He'd zone out with a podcast in his ears while Archie spilled snacks. This testimony, unconfirmed but viral, landed at a precarious moment for the couple. Social media platforms ran wild. Hashtags like #SussexSecrets and #PlainTruth trended on X, formerly Twitter. Parenting influencers launched hour-long breakdowns. Editorials across British and American outlets asked, how much control does any public figure really have over their own narrative in the digital age? Inside the Sussex camp, panic gave way to urgency. A crisis communications firm from Los Angeles was brought in, one known for reputation recovery work with controversial celebrities. Their strategy? Don't directly deny, reframe. Within days, Harry appeared in a cozy, overproduced Instagram video building a swing set with Archie. Meghan did a podcast segment titled The Myth of the Perfect Mother, tearfully recounting the mom guilt all parents carry. But the public, once charmed by their vulnerability, seemed less receptive this time. Critics noted a pattern. Everything feels reactive, wrote one cultural commentator. There's always a well-lit video or curated soundbite, but never raw footage, never true accountability. Complicating matters, audio from the plane in question, leaked by a whistleblower, revealed a heated exchange between Meghan and Harry over who should calm a fussy Lilibet. "You do it," Meghan reportedly snapped. "I've had cameras in my face all week." Harry mumbled a protest before a crew member offered to help, met with silence. That tape, however blurry in source, only deepened public skepticism. Meanwhile, royal insiders and commentators had a field day. Royal author Angela Levin said, "This is not a media attack. This is a mirror." And the Sussexes don't like what they see. Across the pond, late-night hosts couldn't resist the headlines. Stephen Colbert joked, "Turns out flying private doesn't mean flying in private." Not with those leaks. Even Trevor Noah poked fun. "When your nanny knows more about your kids than you do, it's time to log off Instagram." For Harry, the most haunting part wasn't the jokes, it was the silence from his family. Not a word from William, not even an indirect nod from Charles or Camilla. Buckingham Palace had learned its lesson long ago. Sometimes the most devastating statement is no statement at all. Still, even amidst public criticism, their core fanbase rallied. Hashtags defending Meghan's motherhood went viral. Parenting groups on Facebook organized digital solidarity campaigns, sharing their own moments of exhaustion, guilt, and public shame. To many, this controversy wasn't about royalty, it was about unrealistic standards mothers are forced to meet. But the line between public misunderstanding and private reckoning remained thin. Sources close to the couple say Harry was deeply affected by the narrative shift. For the first time, it wasn't about Meghan's image or royal drama. It was about him as a father. That got under his skin. Some believe this incident may influence his long-term relationship with media altogether. Ultimately, this episode marked a rare moment when the Sussexes, who've so often controlled their story, were suddenly in the story, and not by choice. Their response may define how their legacy is shaped from here on. Will they regain control of the narrative, or will these fractures keep deepening beneath the polished surface? And hey, if you've been gripped by this saga like the rest of us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. What do you believe is really going on behind the scenes with Harry and Meghan's parenting? We're just getting started.